Hello, welcome back. You ask for it, and here it is. This one, I have to give props to top fives again. This one, I've got to stop saying fucking I'm getting back into that habit. Sorry, but this one is 5 terrifying encounters. So actual encounters, 5 of them. Video's quite long, so we'll have to break it down again. But this one we'll do maybe 2, depending on how long it goes on for. We'll do 2 of the encounters, and then we'll see where we're at. See if we can do another one in this video. If not, I'll do a part 2 for you. But yeah, we'll crack on with the video. Okay. Sorry about that noise.
Almost everyone has heard of the Men in Black, whether that's from the popular film or the real deal. And all stories seem to start with someone who has been researching or witnessed a UFO or an extraterrestrial. They get approached by a man or a group of strange men dressed in black suits who warn them not to speak of their event. Well, here are 5 times where people have apparently been approached by these mysterious undercover people and have since gone on to tell of their encounters. Albert K. Bender. Albert Bender's encounter with the Men in Black is one of the world's most popular.
I know, I'm a child.
He was in the US Air Force during World War II, was the founder of the International Flying Saucer Bureau, and also the editor of a small publication called the Space Review. He became obsessed with UFOs and researched tirelessly for evidence to prove their existence. In 1953, he made a series of discoveries that led him to believe that he'd finally found the truth about a serious UFO cover-up. Excited by what he had discovered, he wrote a report and intended to publish his findings in the Space Review. Until one day, he claims he was visited by 3 men dressed in black suits who warned him to stop his UFO research and threatened him with prison if he published his findings or told anyone else. Bender was so scared at how they knew of his findings and by the visit that he immediately shut down his bureau, closed his Space Review publication, and ceased all active involvement with the world of UFOs. In an interview with a local newspaper at the time, Bender said the encounter left him scared for his life and unable to sleep or eat for days after his meeting. It's been said that Bender was a changed man after the encounter. He suffered terrible headaches that would almost knock him out and refused to talk about what had happened. There was also a time when he received a strange phone call whilst alone one time. He answered, but no one was on the other end talking, but he could sense someone was definitely there. He said his head began spinning and throbbing, and he felt something telling him that he should stop messing around and researching UFOs.
That's one of the more sort of common things that they say as well. You research UFOs and you get somewhere, and the phone rings, and more often than not, what he's describing is like instead of a voice, there's like a tone, and it makes them go dizzy. Like some people have reported hearing this or buzzing or something like that on the other end of the phone, and it's caused them to sort of like fit almost and fall on the floor, which is very weird.
He then heard a strange humming sound before the call ended. A few years later, in 1963, Albert spoke more about his encounter with what he called the Silencers in a book called Flying Saucers and 3 Men in Black. But the details of what he revealed were vague, and the book was regarded as strange and unreadable. That revealed very little in the way of credible facts, much different from his intelligent publications before his encounter. It did show and start the theories though that some Men in Black could actually be extraterrestrials. It seems that if Bender did indeed have an encounter with those 3 men, they sure did keep him quiet and had a serious effect on him. He refused to discuss flying saucers with anyone, and those who knew him said he just wasn't the same man. Albert K. Bender took most of his secrets to his grave when he passed away in 2002. The Maury Island Incident. The Maury Island Incident takes place with Harold Dahl on June the 21st, 1947. He was on a fishing boat with his son and some other people when out of nowhere they saw 6 donut-shaped objects hovering in the sky.
This is the one that's everywhere. Everyone who knows about these people know about this incident because it's well documented, and you can actually research what happened yourself because it's all freely available information. And this is the one that the film, I can't remember if it's a film or series, but Project Blue Book. This is what it's based on. Oh God, I'm saying all the time. I hate myself. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's just a bloody habit.
Above them. The men quickly returned back to shore where Dal took some photographs, and they all witnessed one of the crafts dropping what looked like hot molten metal into the water. As this mysterious substance...
And one of these bits of rock, this substance, was actually found. It was actually recovered. Where it is now, I fucking did it again. It was recovered. Where it is now, I don't know.
Hit the water, some splashed onto the beach and unfortunately killed Harold's dog and badly burned his son. After taking his son to the hospital, Dal told his boss, Fred Chrisman, what had happened and gave him the camera. Chrisman developed the film, and although they vaguely showed the strange airships, the prints were poor and covered in black spots, so Chrisman did not believe Dal's story. Despite his doubts, Chrisman went to Maury Island to gather some rocks to sample, and whilst there, he claims to have witnessed something that backed up Dal's story. He saw an unidentified object circling above him, as if it was observing what he was doing. But it was actually the day after this when things got interesting. Harold said that after his sighting, he was visited by a man in a black suit who suggested they go to breakfast together to talk. Dal drove his car following this man's all-black Buick to a nearby restaurant. They ordered breakfast, and as they were eating, the man gave Dal a highly detailed account of what had happened to him the day before, talking about the UFOs and the unknown substance that was poured into the water. The man didn't ask Harold any questions, but when he had finished recalling the incident, he warned Dal that bad things would happen to him and his family if he told anyone about what he had witnessed. Harold told Chrisman of the encounter and they both kept quiet, until years later they sent some residue from the incident and a detailed letter of the event to a magazine publisher. The magazine founder and a UFO investigator met with Dal and Chrisman to discuss what had happened. Not long after, 2 Army Air Corps officers were sent to interview the men and investigate the scene, but on their way back from the investigation, their plane mysteriously crashed and both men died.
Yeah.
It's been said that on board...
I remember reading that. So, obviously they waited however long before actually coming out with it, because they were scared for their life or their family's life. And then the 2, I don't know if they were government agents. I think they were just Air Force, like higher, like Air Force representatives, come out to sort of see what they could find, and then their plane crashed. Which is, I don't believe in coincidence. Do you?
Aboard the plane, the 2 officers had some of the strange metal substance that Dal had collected, and also the photographs that he took that day. This led people to think that the plane was shot down in an attempt to cover up what was found. An Air Force and FBI investigation was launched, and both thought that Dal and Chrisman had hoaxed the incident. They were told to confess, or else they would be prosecuted for the resulting death of 2 officers. They both dropped the case, but years later Chrisman said that everything that had happened was not faked. Some people believe it was all a hoax that went too far, and resulted in the deaths of 2 men, and others believe it did indeed happen, and Dal was confronted by a man in black, who somehow knew the exact details of the event just the day after. One thing's for sure though, the FBI and the Air Force had some serious interest in the matter, and it makes you think that if both knew the men in black are fake, then surely once Dal said he was confronted by one, they would have known he was faking the story and wouldn't have paid any interest. It's definitely a strange case that leaves you wondering whether the men in black are real or not. But if they are, then how did the...
Let's bring that back a bit.
Surely once Dal...
The following in general, the facts regarding flying discs, story that started by blah 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 blah, which subsequently resulted in news stories. I don't know what the fuck that says. Something Times, and the Boys Statesman, it's Chicago Times. B-25 carrying Army intelligence officers who were shot down or sabotaged over Kelso, Washington on August 1st, 1947, because it was carrying some flying disc fragments. The original story was related by blah blah, was of effect blah 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 blah. But yeah, I'll leave that on there for a little while, where you can pause it to read it. But this, like I say, is probably got from the government archives because it's freely available and widely known now. But it's up to you whether you decide to believe the whole incident, whether it was them 2 men dying in the plane crash was just a freak accident, and it was a hoax. But I don't know. This one is one of the ones with the most level of credence, considering how well known it is and how much evidence there was from it. And you know, the government who hide this sort of thing and the Air Force, they don't get on. You know, the Air Force now release UFOs, but they don't call them the UFOs now. It's what do they call them now? UFPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, I think is what they refer to now. UAPs, and they've been told to report it straight away, and it becomes public. So you can look now. It happens all the fucking time. It literally happens all the time now. But what I was getting to is the back then and up until like 1990, 2000, the Air Force and these people who try and cover up this shit don't agree with each other. They do not get on at all. There's always there's a story about these men in black visiting a general and telling him to tell his team or platoon, I don't fucking know what they're called, but telling them that if they see anything, don't report it and stuff like that. And the general was just like, well, no, because if they don't report it, we don't know about it, and if they go down, we have more information. We can send out help to them, sort of thing. So they've had arguments in the past, definitely. We'll stop the video there. Hit the like button if you want a part 2, and we'll do the part 2. Take care, and always do what you love the most. See you later.